Hello everyone and welcome to my Wrath the Lich King Enchanting guide. In this guide I'm gonna talk about the benefits of this profession, what Burning Crusade materials you can prepare to level your profession in Wrath the Lich King, and last but not least, what you need to craft from 375 to 450. The biggest benefit of choosing Enchanting is the different enchants on your rings, because people who don't level up Enchanting will not be able to get ring enchants in Wrath the Lich King. In order to get these enchants, you will need to level up your enchanting to level 400. Another big benefit, or well, a change compared to Burning Crusade, is that you will now be able to store your enchants on these armor and weapon willems. The armor and weapon willems is crafted by the new profession inscription, and when you enchant these, you will turn them into a scroll. This scroll you can then post on the auction house, so this way you will be able to level from 375 to 450, and all the enchants that you do when you level up your profession, you will be able to sell. Next up is the different Burning Crusade preparations you can do to level up your profession in the beginning of Wrath the Lich King. You can either reach Honored with the lower city and purchase this ring enchant. You can also head into Karazhan and try to see if you're lucky enough to get this enchant. It doesn't matter which of them you get, because you will be able to level with both of them. What I highly recommend you to do is to craft the ring enchants, because the materials to craft this enchant is going to be cheaper compared to the other one. And overall, I feel like this preparation will probably be worth it, because in the beginning there won't be any Wrath the Lich King materials on the auction house, and by the time that someone starts selling them, they will most likely also be so expensive, because there's going to be a huge demand for them. I guess you might also be wondering how far you will be able to level with Burning Crusade materials. At level 385 they will start turning green, and at level 390 you will not be able to level with Burning Crusade materials any longer. Next up is what you need to craft from 375 to 450 in case you decide to only level with Wrath the Lich King materials. You can either craft this Bracer enchant, it will guarantee you a skill because the enchant is orange. But you can also save some materials and try to craft another enchant. This skill is only yellow, but then again it also requires way less materials. Overall, I prefer to do this because it still has a high chance to grant you a skill. You will be doing this for the next 5 levels. At level 380 to level 385, you have 2 decent options. You can either craft this weapon enchant, but then again, you have to pay attention to the different materials. Make sure to check the auction house price and go with the one that is the cheapest. It will most likely be cheaper to craft this Bracer enchant, and therefore I usually just stick to this one. At level 385, you also have 2 decent options. You can either do the Icewalker enchant or the weapon enchant. I usually stick to the Icewalker enchant because the materials might not be that expensive. You can easily farm the crystallized water, and you only need one of these for each enchant that you do. At level 390, the Icewalker enchant will continue to grant you 100% chance to get a skill, so do this all the way up to 395. At level 395, the cheapest way to level enchanting will be to do the enchant cloak with superior agility. I usually craft this for the next 10 levels, so all the way up to 405. Just remember that at level 400 you will be able to learn the new ring enchants, so in case you leveled enchanting just to get these, well then you don't really need to continue leveling it. At level 405 you could always continue to level by crafting the cloak enchant. But then again, for just a few more materials, you will be able to craft expertise on gloves, and this has 100% chance to grant a skill. I recommend you to do expertise on gloves from 405 to 415. At level 415, you will have unlocked so many new enchants, but I highly recommend you not to do those where you need to use dream shards. That's because you will need the dream shards later on in order to purchase different formulas from the vendor. Your cheapest way to level your profession for the next 5 levels will be with the enchant boots Greater Spirit. At level 420, there's 2 options, or well 2 things I recommend you to either craft, but this also depends on the price. Either you can stick to this enchant, or you can go with the one where you need a lot of Eternal Earth. It all depends on the price, because in the beginning the price for Eternal Earth might also be expensive. Also make sure to check the price for the different enchants on auction house. You might be able to make one of these and level your profession and maybe even make a profit, so make sure to always check auction house before you do something. At level 425 you can also make the new rod, or well, you will most likely be able to. It all depends if people leveled their blacksmithing and made the titanium rod, because you'll need this rod in order to make the runed titanium rod. Else you can always stick to this enchant instead, because this doesn't require the new rod. You can do the enchant chest superior health all the way up to 435, but I recommend you to craft the rod at level 434, because at level 435 the rod will no longer grant you a 100% chance to get a skill. And when you reach level 435, you will also need the new rod in case you plan to do enchants that grant you a 100% chance to get a skill. The reason for this is because you will no longer be able to train any new enchants from the trainer. Instead you will have to go to this vendor where you need to purchase some different formulas. At level 435 I usually purchase this one because the materials to continue leveling your enchanting will not be that expensive. But like I mentioned, you will need the new rod in case you plan to do the new enchant that you just purchased for 4 dream shards. You will do this enchant to 440, and at level 440 you will need to purchase a new formula. The one that I usually purchase is this one, and this you will also be able to level with all the way up to 450. The enchant requires quite a few materials, but then again it's also fairly decent, so you shouldn't have a problem reselling this on the auction house. But yeah, that's also about it for today. In case you would like to see other Wrath of the Lich King content, for example class guides and other profession guides, then make sure to check out the channel. As always, thank you for watching and have an amazing day. Peace!